How many ages hence shall this, our lofty scene, be acted over in states unborn and accents yet unknown? So spoke Cassius in Julius Caesar, and it makes us wonder if Shakespeare could have conceived of the lasting impact and enduring performance history his plays would have for centuries the world over. How do history and language translate through to performance? In our final episode today, we enter the rehearsal room, where Bell Shakespeare's 2026 production of Julius Caesar is taking flight. We have arrived at Bell Shakespeare's headquarters here in the Walsh Bay Arts Precinct, where we'll chat with some of the cast, as well as the artistic director and director of Julius Caesar, Peter Evans. So Pete, you spoke to us about how your focus for this production was persuasion. Is that a conversation that you've been having in the room with the actors?
Yeah, so on the first day, I put that up on the board and it became a kind of focus for the group. And they've really latched hold of it. They really found it a kind of engine into every scene because constantly somebody is persuading somebody of something else. And so that ended up being something that's carried all the way through. And in fact, we come back to it quite a lot. And it was certainly in the first few days, just a way in, because sometimes the play can feel a bit overwhelming and there's so much to do. And so there's just a way of going, well, look, let's just work out what the persuasion is inside the scene, and then it opens it up.
Like a beating heart or a guiding star.
Yeah, that's right, a northern star.
Can you talk to us in broad strokes about what the rehearsal process is like, working up on the floor with the actors?
So basically we talk a lot about the play and we get into the text and just kind of work out, do we understand all the words and are we completely clear on what we're saying? We then do quite a lot of voice classes, and that also involves a lot of text work and saying the text out loud, and we have a particular voice coach who helps with that. And then there's also movement, and for this production that's often around the knives and there's kind of safety issues going on. And then we try and get it on its feet very early, which is quite a strange process for the actors, kind of jump up, and some of them have their scripts, some of them have learnt their lines already. And we kind of make shapes. We try and feel what is the most natural way for this scene to kind of unfold. It's a relatively straightforward process of finding something and then seeing if it's repeatable and then refining.
You make it sound so easy. I'm sure it's not that easy in practice.
The actors have done a lot of plays and they have a lot to offer, so as collaborators I really enjoy that. And there's a real mix of ages and experience, which I really enjoy. We're just looking at the tent scene or the argument scene, which is in the last third of the play, where they've been at battle for 2 years. They're in the Civil War now, and Cassius comes to Brutus. They haven't seen each other for some time, and there's a lot of grievances between the two of them. It's sort of been boiling throughout the play, and they have this big argument where it all kind of comes out. And then they get together with the soldiers and they plan going to fight at Philippi, where the last stand will happen. It's a very famous and amazing bit of the play.
Wonderful. Who do we have performing Cassius and Brutus for us?
So Leon Ford is playing Cassius and Bridget Zangeni is playing Brutus. Because it's set in the 90s, and for any contemporary conspiracy, there would be men and women and all sorts of people involved. And so to have a female Brutus as the head of that conspiracy is super interesting, I think, and has provoked all sorts of discussions around gender and around power that I hope will also be in the audience's head when they watch it. And Brutus is very well known for being kind of quasi-stoic and a bit reserved, but what we've been finding is that if she brings a bit of herself and a bit of emotion to it, actually the character is much more interesting. So we've actually been discovering things that academically you wouldn't say are in the characters, but on the floor are actually bringing it to life. And then Cassius is known for kind of flying off the handle and being very emotional. And so we've been exploring that a bit. He's quite dramatic in certain senses, which is not Leon. So it's really interesting playing with him with that, because that's not his kind of natural state. So that's been super fun.
Shall we head upstairs?
Yeah, let's go and have a look. Here's Leon and Bridget now.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Leon.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you. And Bridget. Hi. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you enjoy about getting to play these characters. What intrigues you and pulls you in?
Well, I'm playing Brutus, and there's a lot for an actor to love about this part. I always think that acting is a, sort of dance between thought and instinct and think that really works particularly for this character, because the internal landscape of this character is so huge, but the outer is quite closed off. So there's a really interesting dynamic for an actor. There's so much to find in that. So that for me is really, really exciting. And also the fact that she is so conflicted is something that is really juicy for any actor, that, you know, you're so conflicted with so many decisions you're making. You're scared of doing the wrong thing. You want to do what's right, but internally, am I doing the right thing? And so that's just, it's fun. It's really great fun to play.
That conflict is certainly fun for the audience to watch play out in real time. What is it like to be embodying those moments of tension and conflict? Is this right? Is this wrong on stage?
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
It's really visceral. But, you know, I think a lot of the work, like in rehearsal now, we're finding so much on our feet in the room. And also just, you know, you can only do so much on your own. And it's so great to have Leon to play opposite in those big scenes, because, yeah, it's bringing something else out in me that I hadn't thought of. And I hope it's doing the same for him. Possibly not. But it's that you can only do, you know, acting, you know, it's about sharing something.
And Cassius, in contrast to the complexity of Brutus, there's something quite exciting about just sinking your teeth into a guy who's just single-mindedly after one thing and comes up against obstacles all the time, primarily Brutus's reticence to join him, but, you know, is this right or is this wrong? But really, he's made the decision, and what's fun is jumping from the public face, or the court, you know, Julius Caesar's there, to when they're left alone and the true, you know, character comes out, and
the
then
mask
the mask comes, exactly. Yeah, it's so delicious as an actor just to be sort of acting within the piece, acting within the acting, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because in that first scene when we're alone for the first time, a mask has been dropped, but there's still a mask.
Yes, that's right, there's another mask.
And then the further we go through the play, when we get to the tent scene, all masks seem to be off.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's still a kind of mask there, but do you know what I mean? But it's like a stripping away, sort of.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing you can't really find until you do it, until you're on your feet.
True.
You know, like you can read it and you can think, I wonder if he means this, or I wonder if she means that, and blah blah blah. But once you're up there and you're going for what you want to go for, then Shakespeare's intentions, I think, really reveal themselves. You know, the text is driving you forwards into these objectives. Like, Brutus is sticking to her ideals of waging war in an honourable way, and Cassius is more pragmatic and is more of the mind that we've just got to win this any way we can, and then we can go back to, you know, your honour and all that sort of stuff that you believe is so important. But for now, let's just fight a war. And so he's kind of really, once again, so frustrated at Brutus, but she's not giving anything.
Not budging. Not budging. Which, you know, it's commendable, but also it is her downfall. And everyone else's, you know. I mean, you've got to have some flexibility. She doesn't have any.
She's unpersuadable.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Like, we've just got to do this, and she just doesn't.
Yeah.
Really? So you think she's unpersuadable, and not that Cassius just doesn't do a very good job of persuading her in that moment?
I did think that, but he tries so many different angles, and some of his arguments are very reasonable and very real. I mean, I've never personally been in a war situation, but he really is just saying, look, we need to win. And she's saying we only win if we win the right way. It's like, well, then we're not going to win.
Yeah.
You know?
And at the very end, one of her last speeches, I shall have glory in this losing day, which always rings to me, because it's like, that's so un-Roman, to have glory in losing. But I did it, and I stuck to my code. My moral compass did not sway that way or that way. But I will lose gloriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, how deliciously horrific that clash between idealism and pragmatism.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Bell Shakespeare will premiere Peter Evans' latest production of Julius Caesar at Sydney Opera House in March 2026, with seasons following at Canberra Theatre Centre and Arts Centre Melbourne.
Thank you for joining us for this special series looking at the history, language and performance of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. More than 400 years after the play was first performed, and 2,000 years after the political assassination that inspired it all, this play remains astonishingly relevant. From its gripping portrayal of the political assassination that remains one of the most infamous of all time, to its exploration of the power of language and persuasion, to Shakespeare's masterful and compelling use of storytelling, Julius Caesar remains as compelling today as ever, for artists and audiences alike.